This is Dr. S. Prasanna Rani, Assistant Professor of Mathematics in Pingil Government Degree College for Women, Warangal. Today's video lesson is on the topic span. So my content for the today's videos lesson is a new concept now, as a new concept called span. This is also a basic concept, or we can say it is also the basic notion in the topic linear algebra, and it also plays an important role for the further study of linear algebra. So to get into the definition of span, I want to recall you some concepts from the previous video lesson, which is based on the topic linear combination. So if you recall the definition of linear combination, it is another vector which can be expressed as C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar plus so on Cn Vn bar, which is the sum of scalar multiples of some vectors V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vn bar with the scalars C1, C2, Cn, and this gives rise to another vector which is called the linear combination of the vectors V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vn bar. And we have also solved a problem based on the concept linear combination in the previous video lesson. Let us recall that problem also, one which can lead us to the definition of span. So I want to give that problem again, recall that problem once again. So let us go through the problem now. V1 bar, V2 bar, V3 bar are the three vectors given to us, and B bar is another vector, and we were asked to determine whether this B bar is a linear combination of V1 bar, V2 bar and V3 bar or not. And after going through the solution, we have arrived at a solution that this B bar, this vector B bar cannot be expressed as a linear combination of V1 bar, V2 bar and V3 bar, for the reason that there exists no scalar C1, C2, C3 satisfying the condition that B bar is equal to C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar plus C3 V3 bar. So that is how we have seen that given a set of some vectors, maybe 3 or more, we can be able to or not, or cannot be able to, or cannot be also expressed that vector as a linear combination of those given set of vectors. So this possibility is there, and this leads us to the definition of span. How it goes, let us see, going through some more introduction to the topic span. So from the above problem, we can understand that a given vector may or may not be a linear combination of a set of vectors. That is, a given vector can be expressed or may not be expressed as, may not be in the among all those linear combinations that can be formed by given set of vectors. So a given set of vectors with varying values for scalars can give different linear combinations, but our vector, some vector, may or may not be expressed as a linear combination, and maybe or may not be among all those linear combinations which can be expressed by using the given set of vectors. So this gives rise to the concept of the set of all linear combinations of given vectors, which is named as the new concept span. Now it is time to go through the definition of span. So the word span has the definition that if V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar are any set of P vectors, then the set of all linear combinations of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar is denoted by span of, we should call it as span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar, and is called the set spanned or generated by V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar. That means if V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar are any set of P vectors, as I have started with the suffix 1 and ended with a number with a letter P, we can understand that P takes values from 1 and above, any positive integral value. So V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar are any set of P vectors, and we are considering that the set of all linear combinations of these vectors V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar is denoted by, there is a notation here that is written as a span of, in the set brackets, V1 bar comma V2 bar comma so on comma Vp bar, and we call it as the span or the set spanned by or the set generated by the vectors V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar. So this definition I can give you in another form also, that goes like this. If V1 bar comma V2 bar comma so on Vp bar are any collection of P vectors, then the set span of V1 bar comma V2 bar comma so on comma Vp bar is called the span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar, and it is the collection of all vectors of the form C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar plus so on plus Cp Vp bar, where C1 C2 so on Cp are all scalars, or otherwise I can say C1 C2 so on Cp are all real numbers. So the difference between the above definition and this form of definition for the word span is that I have replaced the word linear combination by the vector C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar plus so on Cp Vp r. So the linear combination by its definition leads us to the definition of span in this second definition. Now I can give another form of definition for span, which goes like this. If V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar are any set of vectors, then span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar is equal to set consisting of all the vectors of the form gamma bar, where gamma bar is equal to C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar plus so on plus Cp Vp bar. So this where here we should understand that C1 C2 so on Cp are all scalars. So now I have extended the definition to give the set definition of the span. The span from the above two definitions we could understand that span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar is nothing but a set, and that set consists of all the linear combinations of the vectors V1 bar, V2 bar and so on Vp bar. So now I want to define that set span by set builder form notation, and that is how I am giving this definition in the way span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar is equal to the set consisting of the vectors gamma bar, such that gamma bar has the form gamma bar is equal to C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar plus so on plus Cp Vp bar, where we can understand that the coefficients C1 C2 so on Cp are nothing but the scalars which are real numbers. Now if we can even have one more definition, another form of definition for the word span, and that can be given like this. If v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar is any set of vectors, then their span is denoted by span of, in the set brackets, v1 bar comma v2 bar comma so on comma vp bar, and is defined as span of v1 bar comma v2 bar comma so on comma vp bar, and this is further equal to the set consisting of all the vectors of the form c1 v1 bar plus c2 v2 bar plus so on plus cp vp bar, such that c1 comma c2 comma so on comma cp are scalars. So in this definition I am giving the exact form of the elements which belong to the set span of v1 bar, v2 bar comma so on comma vp bar. So we can look the elements of the span of this vectors, this set of vectors v1 v2 so on vp is of the form, every element is of the form c1 v1 bar plus c2 v2 bar plus so on plus cp vp bar, and this is simply the linear combination of all those vectors. So this is the definition of span, and we should remember that this set span of v1 v2 so on vp is said to be either spanned by those vectors or generated by those vectors v1 v2 so on vp. Now moving on to another concept, and that is named as subspace spanned by a set. So far we have seen that the set of linear combinations is called as span of those vectors v1 v2 so on vp, and now I am going to in depth to give I am extending the set to subspace, and that definition is given by the word subspace spanned by a set. And before going to define this subspace which is specially spanned by a set, we have to go through some brief introduction of that, which leads us to the concept in a clear manner. So let us see some points based on the definition we have already gone through. We know that the sum of scalar multiples of a given set of vectors is a linear combination of those set of vectors. Also, the set of all linear combinations of those vectors is called span of them by the above definitions of span. That is, if v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar are any p vectors, then the set of all vectors that can be written as linear combinations of these vectors is called span of v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar, and is denoted by span of v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar. And further, I can also say that this set span of v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar is said to be the set spanned by or the set generated by the vectors v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar. So this set span of v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar is a set which is spanned by or generated by the vectors v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar. Now the time has arrived to get the definition of subspace spanned by a set, and it goes like this. Let H be a subspace of a vector space V, then a spanning set, or we can also say a generating set for H is the set consisting of v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar in H, such that H is equal to span of v1 bar, v2 bar, so on, vp bar. So if H is a subspace of a vector space V, then a spanning set or generating set for that subspace H is the set that we have already seen, that is span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar, and we denote that H is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar. So in the above definition of span, we have seen that span is just a set, but in this definition it is given that if H is a subspace of the vector space V consisting of those vectors V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar, then H is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar, and we know that H is a subspace. So that is how we can say that span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar is a subspace of the vector space V. And at this juncture, I want to make a remark on the subspace spanned by H on the vector space V. And what is that? Let us see. H is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on, Vp bar. This means that every element of H can be expressed as a linear combination of every element of H can be expressed as a linear combination of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on, Vp bar. H is equal to span of those vectors means, as we already come across to know that we have already seen in just a few minutes before that set the span of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar consists of all the linear combinations of the vectors V1, V2, so on Vp. If H, the subspace H is equal to span of these vectors, then we can say that every element of H can be expressed as a linear combination of V1 bar, V2 bar, so on Vp bar. Now it is time to move on to a theorem based on subspace spanned by a set in a vector space. So how this theorem statement goes, let us see. If V1 bar and V2 bar are in a vector space V, we are considering two vectors, namely V1 bar and V2 bar. Then they are asking to prove us capital H is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar is a subspace of V even when the set capital H is not mentioned as a subspace of the vector space V, but if it is defined as capital H is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar, then we can say that this set capital H which is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar will be a subspace of the vector space V. How we can prove that? Let us see. Now to start with the proof of the theorem, we should always give the contents or data which are provided in the theorem statement. First let us mention them, then we can proceed to prove the statement. Now it is given that V1 bar and V2 bar are in vector space V, and our aim is to prove that capital H is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar is a subspace of the vector space V. So it is given that capital H is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar. What is span of V1 bar, V2 bar? That we have seen in the definition of span, and we have seen that span of the vectors is whatever be the vectors there, the span of those vectors is defined as the set consisting of all linear combinations of the vectors V1 bar, V2 bar with some scalars C1, C2. If we go in detail of this definition, we can see that capital H is equal to span of V1 bar, V2 bar, which can be expressed as set of gamma bar such that gamma bar is equal to C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar. As there are only two vectors given in the set span, we should have the linear combination of only those two vectors, which can be given as C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar. As that linear combination is again a vector, I am denoting it as gamma bar. So any typical element of the set H is now of the form gamma bar, which is given as C1 V1 bar plus C2 V2 bar, and that is a linear combination with the scalar formed by the scalar C1 comma C2, which are nothing but real numbers. I have taken this as equation number 1. Now our aim is to, as I already said, our aim is to prove that capital H is a subspace of the vector space V, where H is defined as a span of V1 bar comma V2 bar. If H is a set like a set which is spanned by or generated by the vectors V1 bar and V2 bar, now we have to show that H is a subspace of the vector space V. How can we show that a given set, non-empty set of a vector space is a subspace of that vector space? This can be done by, as we have come across in the previous video lessons, where we have seen the definition of subspace and the conditions for a set to be satisfied as a subspace to a vector space. Those are three conditions. First condition states that the zero vector should be in that non-empty set, and the second condition says that the vector addition should exist in the set H, and the third condition states that the scalar multiplication should be satisfied in the given set H, which is to be shown as a subspace for a given vector space. So now it is our part to show that capital H satisfies all these three conditions. So let us see the verification of the first condition, that whether the zero vector is in H. So we already know that V is a vector space given to us in the statement itself, and when V is a vector space, it should definitely have possessed with the vector zero vector in it. So V is a vector space, and that is how it is possessed with the zero vector 0 bar in it. So 0 bar is equal to 0 V1 bar plus 0 V2 bar, and this implies that 0 bar belongs to H. So the zero vector 0 bar can be expressed as 0 times V1 bar plus 0 times V2 bar, which means that 0 bar is the sum of scalar multiples of V1 bar V2 bar. So somehow we could express like this, taking the scalars C1 C2 as the real number 0. So that is how 0 bar is a linear combination of V1 bar and V2 bar, and hence by the definition of the set H, which is given in equation 1, we can say that 0 bar is in the set H. So therefore the zero vector is in H. Now take the second condition. That second condition, to prove the second condition, we should take two vectors. Let U bar comma W bar belongs to H. Then by 1, U bar is equal to A1 V1 bar plus A2 V2 bar, and W bar is equal to B1 V1 bar plus B2 V2 bar for some real numbers A1 comma A2 comma B1 comma B2. So to prove the second condition, that H is a subspace of the vector space V, we need to have two vectors in it, and those two vectors I have taken as U bar comma W bar, and as they are the elements of H, they should be of the form they should be linear combinations first of all of the vectors of the two vectors v1 bar and v2 bar, and that is how they take the form u bar as a1 v1 bar plus a2 v2 bar, and w bar is b1 v1 bar plus b2 v2 bar. So for some real numbers a1 comma a2 comma b1 comma b2, now u bar plus w bar is equal to a1 v1 bar plus a2 v2 bar plus b1 v1 bar plus b2 v2 bar, and this we can split and write the elements, rearrange the elements, and can express this as a1 v1 bar plus b1 v1 bar together in separate brackets plus a2 v2 bar plus b2 v2 bar in another brackets together in another brackets, and this we can do by using the properties of vector space V. And so this is equal to a1 plus b1 times v1 bar plus a2 plus b2 times v2 bar. And this also we can do by applying the properties of vector space, namely the distribution property in the definition of vector space. Now moving on to the next step, I can say that now I can claim that u bar plus w bar belongs to H, since a1 plus b1 comma a2 plus b2 are also real numbers, because the sum of two real numbers gives us a real number again. So that is how we could prove that taking two vectors u bar comma w bar in H, we have shown that u bar plus w bar is also in H. That is how H is closed under addition. Let now moving on to the third condition, let C be any scalar. Now consider, to prove the scalar multiplication, consider the element Cu bar. Cu bar is equal to substituting u bar vector, whatever we have taken for u bar, substitute it here, and we get C times a1 v1 bar plus a2 v2 bar, and this we can further write as ca1 times v1 bar plus ca2 times v2 bar. This we can do by using the properties of vector space, which is a scalar multiplication property in the definition of vector space. So using the scalar multiplication, one of the scalar multiplication properties of the definition of vector space, we could be able to write that C times of a1 v1 bar plus a2 v2 bar as ca1 times v1 bar plus ca2 times v2 bar. And now we claim that this Cu bar, this element Cu bar belongs to H, by the reason that Ca1, the scalar coefficients of v1 bar and v2 bar in the above are Ca1 and Ca2, which are nothing but scalars again. That means which are real numbers again, because the product of two real numbers gives rise to another real number, again a real number. So H is closed, that is how H is closed under scalar multiplication. Therefore, from the conditions from the parts 1, 2 and this part 3, we can come to the conclusion that H is equal to, which is represented as span of v1 bar comma v2 bar, is a subspace of V, because in H the elements are satisfying all the conditions of a subspace, wherein the 0 vector is in H. We have seen that the 0 vector is in H, the vector addition is prevailing in H, and at the same time the scalar multiplication is also satisfied in H. So in that way the set H, which is nothing but the span of v1 bar comma v2 bar, is a subspace of V. So that ends the theorem, and that is how we have proved the theorem. So what is the statement of the theorem that we have proved? If v1 bar and v2 bar are two vectors, any two vectors in a vector space V, then H, which is a set spanned by these two vectors, or H is a set generated by these two vectors given as H is equal to span of v1 bar comma v2 bar is a subspace of V. That is every spanning set of a finite number of vectors in a vector space will be a subspace of that vector space. That is the conclusion of this theorem. And for this we have taken H is equal to set of all gamma bar such that gamma bar is equal to a linear combination of v1 bar comma v2 bar, which is given as c1 v1 bar plus c2 v2 bar. And we have shown that the 0 vector is in H, the vector addition is in H, and at the same time the scalar multiplication is also satisfied in H. That is how the set spanned by the vectors v1 bar comma v2 bar is a subspace in the vector space V. So now we can see that the theorem is restricted to or constrained to only two vectors. But if we have more vectors in the spanning set, what will happen? Will that be a subspace of the given vector space or not? Let us see in this remark. Extending this theorem to more vectors, that means more than two vectors, and generalizing that notion, we can say that if v1 bar, v2 bar, so on vp bar are vectors in a vector space V, then the spanning set or generating set of those vectors, which is given as span of v1 bar comma v2 bar comma so on comma vp bar, is a subspace of V. So span of v1 bar comma v2 bar comma so on comma vp bar is also will become a subspace of V, is also a subspace of V. So with this generalized notion, we can say that any finite set of vectors can generated the spanning set or generating set of those finite vectors will be a subspace of the given vector space V. So in this video lesson we are introduced to the new concept span, and which can be defined in 3 or 4 forms, where we have discussed all those definitions, and we are introduced to another concept, namely subspace spanned by a set, and we have also gone through the theorem based on the concept spanning set or generating set of two vectors, and using that we have extended that concept, extended that notion, and to generalized notion that any set of finite number of vectors, spanned set or generating set of those finite set of vectors will be a subspace of the vector space V. So with this the basic concept of span, whatever the contents we have to go through about the concept span, we are cleared about, we are made the concept well now. And in the next video lesson, we can try to solve some problems based on this concept span, or we can say that we can now be able to do some problems based on the spanning set in the next video lesson. So go through these concepts well and understand it well, so that the next class will be well understood by you. Otherwise, without knowing the concepts well, application problems are nothing but the application of the concepts, and if we are not well thorough with the concepts, we cannot do the problems. It is meaningless to do the problems without knowing the concept well. So go through this video lesson again and again until you get the concept well in your mind. So with this I am signing off for this class now.